Hello, good evening. Alicia here from Unleash Fit Living, and tonight I have a topic for you. Should women lift weights to lose weight? And is it true that if women lift weights they're going to get big and bulky and manly looking? That's what we're going to discuss tonight. So if that is something you are interested in, stick around. We're going to be delving into this topic. Hey Sue, thanks for joining tonight. And thanks for everyone who's watching this, whether you're watching it live or later on. It means the world to me that you would even be interested in what I have to share. But I know that what I am sharing is super valuable. So I just hope that it connects with the right people who are interested in the topics that I'm sharing. So yes, if you're jumping on, say hello in the comments and just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the audio okay. And let me know where you're tuning in from. I'd love to know where you are. Are you on the couch? Are you in bed already? I wish I was. Are you listening in the car? Yeah, let me know where you're listening from, and that would be awesome. So who am I? Hey, Christina. Great to see you. Who am I? I'm Alicia. I am a women's health coach and trainer. I'm super passionate about empowering women to think, eat, and move better, and not only better but well in a holistic way. And I take a real natural approach to health and well-being. I don't believe in quick fixes. I don't believe in taking pills and supplements to get healthy. I believe in whole foods, plant-based, and holistic living, getting our mindset fixed first before we make any physical changes. So that's what I'm about. If that's something that you resonate with, then I think that we're going to connect really well. So tonight's topic is, yes, should women lift weights to lose weight? That's what we're going to jump into. And the reason for that is I've had so many friends and clients. Hey, Tristan. I've had so many friends and clients say to me, oh, I'm worried, like if I lift weights, aren't I going to get bulky? And they think that just doing like one workout where they're, using some sort of resistance training is going to make their biceps pop like Arnold or something. So I'm here to bust some myths tonight and let you know, hey Rochelle, thanks for tuning in. I'm here to bust some myths about this and set the record straight and determine fact from fiction when it comes to weightlifting for women. So if you're interested in a little bit more on this, and particularly I do have a free Weights for Women guide, and the link to that is just in the bio of this video right above you. So if that's something you're interested in, please go to that link. It's on my blog, download it. And particularly if you're new to weight training and don't know where to start, this guide will be super helpful. But even if you're just looking for some weight training exercises and how to do them, then this guide for you ladies will be hopefully super helpful. Okay, so jumping in, let me know in the comments, has anyone who's listening thought this before, that if I lift weights, I'm going to get big and bulky and muscly and not really achieve the goal that I want for my body? Anybody? Let me know. Has anyone believed this myth? Or if not you, have you heard someone say it to you, or you've heard someone say, yeah, I'm a girl, I'm not going to lift weights because I don't want to look manly? You get swimmer shoulders, Roz. Okay, interesting. What would be really interesting to talk about is, first of all, I think the perceptions of what, muscly or bulky is, because really for everyone it's different, right? So if we've got a particular body shape that we're looking to achieve, that's going to look different for every single person. Now, something that to keep in mind is, I like this little saying that says, how you eat changes your weight, and how you train changes your shape. So by really making your food and your eating, making that really balanced, making it nutritious, and not overeating and eating the right kinds of foods at the right times, that's actually going to be the biggest factor probably in you losing weight. In losing weight. However, when it comes to getting shape and definition on your body, that's going to come from the way you train. So if you just even look at athletes, for example, if you look at marathon runners who they mainly just run, right? They mainly do a cardio form of training. What are most of their body types like? Those runners and athletes that do endurance running like marathons. Those kinds of athletes are very lean. They have very little muscle tone, and they have, quite a thin body, right? But I wouldn't say, and everyone's different, but in my opinion, I wouldn't say that a runner has a shapely body, or that they are, super defined in terms of their musculature. However, you look at, say, a boxer, for example. A boxer, even though they're doing it's similar, they're doing a lot of cardio, there's resistance involved in that training, and they have quite a more muscular figure. So different ways that you train is going to affect the shape of your body. So getting to this question of, does lifting weights make you look bulky? Well, the biggest, the first answer, yeah, exactly, Roz. Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments. Yeah, the guys that play rugby and AFL, they have different shapes. Absolutely. So when it comes to this is the thing. Are you going to look like a man if you start incorporating some weight training into your program? The answer is no, you're not. And this is why. Females do not actually produce enough testosterone in their bodies to form muscle easily. So it actually takes a lot of hard work, even for men, to get that real shapely muscle tone. For women, I think I was just reading an article on it earlier actually, we have 15 to 20 times less testosterone in general than men. Therefore, it's going to take us even longer to get any kind of muscle shape. Now, the reason why some people might feel like they're bulking up just because they've been lifting weights is not necessarily because of just the weights, but they still actually might have quite a bit of body fat on their bodies. And so as they're building slowly that lean muscle, on top of that's going to be that layer of fat, which is going to make you feel bulkier as well. So the ideal is to actually be able to decrease your body fat percentage while maintaining your lean muscle mass. And that's where you're going to get a lovely, fit, healthy, toned looking body. Okay, so a lot of people, I think where this myth has come from is that there's, the female bodybuilding industry, or the bodybuilding industry, and there's females that are into it. And you've probably seen some of these pictures. And if you jump on my blog later, I've got 2 pictures up there. One is of a lady named Iris Kyle, and she's the 8 times or more winner of Miss Olympia bodybuilding champion. Now, you look at her, and she has an insanely muscly body. Now, a lot of people think, oh, that's what's going to happen when I lift weights. But that is just simply not true. She's not the only type of body that happens from lifting weights. And in fact, I just want to run through a few things that are particular about female bodybuilders. Number one, when you see their photos of them on stage, this is where they've come from. They've been training professionally and have been following very strict dieting for months and months on end. Often they've taken enhancing substances to help increase their muscle mass because, as I said, women struggle to put muscle on more than men. They're also usually at a ridiculously low body fat percentage when they're on stage, meaning that because they've lessened the amount of body fat that's on their bodies, their muscles are going to pop more and they're going to be more prominent. And not only that, but these female bodybuilders that are on stage, they've usually also completely dehydrated their bodies in order to enhance the appearance of their muscles. Now, how they look there is just simply not maintainable for more than a few days or weeks at a time. So let's just clear that myth up straight away, that don't just put all weight training in the basket of how female bodybuilders look, because they haven't just lifted weights. They've done a lot of other things, and they've trained as professional athletes, plus water depleted, reduced their fat percentage down to an unmaintainable level usually, and they also are on enhancing substances. So let's just get that clear, that just because they lift weights doesn't mean that that's the only reason why they look that way. Now, I've put a picture on my blog as well, if you look there later, of a model named Jamie Allen, and there's plenty of other girls that I could have chosen. She has an amazing body. She's just feminine, fit, lean, and more probably the picture of what that the average woman, would like, their body to somewhat look like, right? Now, first of all, I in no way want to encourage comparison, because comparison is the death of us, and it is completely pointless. So by putting these pictures up, please do not take that as a way of me wanting to promote any kind of body type. It's more just to prove the point that this swimwear model, Jamie Allen, she lifts weights. Now, if you look at her compared to Iris Kyle, who's the bodybuilding champion, they have very different bodies, but they both lift weights. So this is my point, is that lifting weights doesn't mean that you're going to end up looking really bulky and muscly. That's usually only women who actually pursue that as a career end up looking that way. Now, of course, everyone's body types are slightly different, and some people, I've got a good friend who I can think of who she's short, she's stocky, and she's strong, and I know that if she committed herself to just weight training, she would definitely have much more definition and tone and muscle definition than the average girl, because her body just naturally is more muscly. But this is the thing, we're the ones that can decide how we want our bodies to look. So if we start to train with weights and we start to notice that we're getting some tone and definition in our muscles, in our arms and our legs, then once we get to a point where we're happy, well, we don't have to keep pushing harder and harder. We can actually maintain that body where we like it. So just keep that in mind, that don't let weightlifting scare you. And in fact, I'm going to share now with you 7 proven benefits of weight training and why it's not only beneficial, but it's actually really important. And particularly if you're on here because you also are interested in losing body fat, well, I'm here to tell you some super awesome news. Weight training actually helps you lose body fat. Really? What? Say what, Alicia? Yeah, it's true. So you can go grab this on my blog as well. But here's some of the points, some of the proven benefits of weight training. First of all, you actually will burn more fat by lifting weights than doing traditional cardio. Myth busted. Correct. Yes. So traditional cardio, how it works is that, say you just went for like a run and, sorry, I'll just answer this question here, Roz, for you. How many sets and reps is good to start with? If you download my Weights with Women guide, I've got I've written in there how many sets and reps to start with. I say to do about 3 sets of 10 is a good place to start, depending on what the exercise is, of course, but there's a good point for you. I hope that helps. Anyway, so back to this cardio versus training, weight training thing. Say you did an hour of cardio on the treadmill and you jogged for an hour, and say you burnt, let's just say 500 calories. So then if you weight trained for an hour, you may have only burnt maybe 400 calories, let's say. However, this is where the difference lies. In the next 24 to 36 hours post-training, your calorie expenditure after doing your cardio workout will just return back to whatever your metabolic rate is. However, if you've done weight training or interval training, because weight training essentially is interval training, right? Because say you're doing, your set of reps, I'm doing biceps just because it's easy, and you're doing that and then you stop and rest. So you're working, then you're resting, then you're working, then you're resting. So pretty much weight training is interval training. This is what's cool about that, is that in the next 24 to 36 hours after that weight training, you can burn way more calories in that time. So I'll give you an example. Say after that you go and sit down and watch TV. After your cardio workout, you might only burn about 60 calories this is just on average, watching TV. But if you'd done a weight training workout, you could burn up to 70 calories per hour watching TV, just sitting there doing nothing. Now you might go, oh, what's the big deal? It's only 10 calories more. But this is what's really cool, is you multiply that every hour over 24 to 36 hours, and you've got 240 to 360 extra calories that you've burned. And then you multiply that by how many days a week you work out doing weight training or interval training. And that can actually end up being a lot more fuel burn in the long run by doing weight training, which actually is going to tap into those fat stores, and you are going to therefore end up burning more fat. Now, the other really cool thing is that how our bodies work is that the more lean muscle mass that we have on our bodies, the better our metabolism works. And the better our metabolism works, the better we burn fat. So this is the thing. The more muscle mass you have, the more able your body is to burn fat. So don't be afraid of building lean muscle. Building lean muscle, particularly for us women, does not mean we're going to end up with like massive biceps. I mean, look at mine. They're not even that big right now because I've been doing hardly any upper body training, to be honest, strength training. Although my new goal at the moment is to do 100 push-ups a day. So that's what I'm working on this month. Anyway, so you can tell that like you're not going to necessarily bulk up like straight away. And even if you're training regularly, it might be years, to be honest, as females. It took me years to actually notice and feel a difference in the definition of my arms. Ages. It took so long of me just working consistently just to see a little bit of definition in my delts and then in my tris and bis. So yeah, don't be afraid to weight train. That is the answer. All right, back to my list. Are you enjoying this so far? Is it making sense? Comment in there for me. Let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. So I was saying that you burn more calories after your workout when you actually do weight training over cardio. Another benefit of weight training is it strengthens your bones. Now, particularly as you get older, thanks for the thumbs up, Sue. Awesome, thanks, Rebecca. Particularly as we get older, it's super important that our bone strength and our muscle mass is maintained, because naturally over time as we age, our bones become more brittle and weaker and our muscle mass decreases. So one way to kind of counteract that, yay, thanks Amber, one way to counteract our bones and our muscles getting weaker is to actually do strength training. So particularly, so I'm talking if you're sort of, look, I don't know what's over the hill these days. I feel over the hill, I'm over 30. But look, any time from once we're in adulthood, I think that it is important to incorporate resistance or strength training into our workouts because it's actually just going to help for our overall health. The other cool thing, like we also mentioned, benefit number 4, is that you will actually be leaner by doing weight training. That is correct. Because you think about it, I'm trying to use something to show an example. If you have all right, so I'm going to use these two things here. Now this is obviously out of proportion just a little bit, but this here represents body fat, okay? And body fat takes up a certain amount of space in our body. And say this weighs 1 kilo, and that's 1 kilo of body fat, it actually takes up more space than 1 kilo of muscle. So 1 kilo of muscle is physically smaller. So this is the thing, even though we might have some lean, we might be building lean muscle is denser than fat, but it takes up less space. So we're actually going to look and feel and be leaner and smaller by having more lean muscle and less body fat. Does that make sense? I hope so. If I haven't explained it properly, let me know. Rochelle, your question, would you use free weights or just body weight exercises? Great question. In my guide that you can download, I actually have both. So I'm going to actually give my recommended body weight exercises for strength training, but I also put in there some weight training with equipment as well. Awesome question. Thank you. The other cool thing about resistance training is it actually eases joint pain. So some people are afraid that if they lift weights, it's going to make their joint pains worse. That's actually usually not the case. Now, of course, check with your physio first, but lifting weights can actually ease joint pain because you're actually strengthening those muscles around those joints, which are going to make the joints work better. Another benefit is you're actually going to have a healthier heart. So there's research that has shown that lifting weights is actually just as good as traditional cardio for your heart health. So this is the cool thing, like when you're doing any kind of resistance training, your heart rate is going up as well. So we're increasing our heart health at the same time. And again, like I said, by those intervals, you know, we work out for maybe 30 seconds and then we rest. That's actually improving our heart rate by having those intervals of getting the heart rate up, then letting it drop, then up, then drop. It's awesome. It's actually probably the best way to train. And then number 7 of the benefits is, and it might be an obvious one, but you're going to be stronger because you're doing strength training. And I don't know about you, but there is nothing more empowering as a woman, I feel, than to actually feel physically strong. I just don't don't get me wrong, I don't want to be a man in any way, and no offense to men at all, love you, you're great, but I was made a woman and I'm happy to be a woman, and but I actually love feeling strong. I love feeling capable. I love feeling able to, just lift things around the house, do all that kind of stuff with ease. And strength training is a way to actually get that. So I hope you're getting the message loud and clear, ladies, that I'm a big advocate for strength training and weight training. All right. Any questions? Any more questions that you have? I've got just a few tips that I wanted to share to finish up. And yeah, type in any questions if you think of them, by the way. But I just wanted to share a few tips about weight training. So particularly if you're new, but you might still learn something even if you're not new and you have been training for a while. First of all, I really do encourage seeking help from a professional trainer because it's important to learn the correct technique and form when you're lifting weights. The way people can hurt themselves and injure themselves. Hello, Bianca. How people can hurt themselves is if they're actually not performing exercises correctly, and that's where a trainer comes in. So myself or someone in your area can help you get that correct technique and form so that you're supporting your body while you're lifting weights and you're not putting it in any jeopardy. So that's what I would say first. And again, just adding to that is that if you just download my Weights for Women guide, in there I have the exercise descriptions for each exercise I've put in there and how to do it correctly. So that will be a really great place to start. Secondly, if you've got access to a gym, I suggest if you're new, start on the machines. So you know the machines where you sit down and it might have like the chest press and you're just pushing the machine back and forward, and they usually have the machines for every part of your body. Start with those, and the reason to start with those is that they offer the most support and stability. And then from there, the progression that we should take is from that, then we go to barbell where it's both hands, then dumbbells where it's single hand and it's less stable. And what that means is we're just, as we increase the instability of whatever the resistance is, the more difficult the move becomes. So if you're new, I just recommend starting on the machines and then progress from there. If you're working out from home, then starting with simple dumbbells or kettlebell or resistance band is a great way as well. And start light. You want to start at a doable level, so at a point where it's easy to moderate, and that way you know that you're not going to be overly pushing yourself. Hope that helps. Beck, I'm just seeing you've written here, should I eat protein or carbs or both after a workout? To be honest, it really depends when you've worked out, and it really depends on what you're eating the rest of the day. So carbs are probably good, but I would probably say a mixture of both carbs and protein, because your carbs are going to replenish the fuel you've burnt, and the protein is going to help repair the muscles that you've worked out. So that's my real general advice, but honestly it depends on when you've worked out. It depends on what other meals you've had during the day. But if, say for example, in the morning, I would say work out before your first meal, before breakfast, and then for your first meal you definitely want to have a good balance of proteins, carbs, and healthy fats in there. Hey, Wendy, thanks for joining. If you need to go back to the beginning and watch it, do it. That's all good. So I'm just talking here about some tips to start with weight training. I've shared that seeing a professional trainer for form and technique, or download my Weights for Women guide. Number 2, use the weight machines if you're new. Number 3, I think I've already mentioned, but use a weight that's doable. And I would aim for about 10 to 15 repetitions on each set. So say it's, your dumbbell curls, you want to do about you want to be able to do 10 to 15, and you want those last 3 to 4 repetitions to be quite challenging. That's about when you know you've got a good weight that you're lifting. Number 4, this is what I love to do, is create interval workouts with weights. So an interval workout is simply that you do, say, 30 seconds of work, of exercise, and then you do 30 seconds or 20 seconds or 15 seconds of rest. You can choose. And you do that back to back, and then you have a rest of maybe a minute, and then you do it again. So often this is used with just body weight exercises like squats and push-ups and stuff, and that's awesome. But I suggest even doing it with your weights. So I'm actually really excited because very soon, probably by the end of next week, I'm actually going to be releasing an 8-week functional fitness guide, which is a workout program, and it's going to be an ebook on my website. So I'm very excited about releasing that. And that is actually going to be, it's actually a combination of this. It's weight training, and it's also set in intervals, and every workout's only 30 minutes, and it progressively gets harder every week. The work to rest ratio of each exercise slightly changes. So that could be something you're interested in too. Also, number 5 is, and this answers your question from before, I can't remember who it was, but it was about body weight exercises. Body weight exercises are an awesome way to increase your strength and incorporate into your training. Now, obviously not all body weight exercises are fully strength focused, but my 4 favorites for building strength are push-ups, pull-ups, glute raises, and plank. Now you think about that, push-ups and plank, you're on your hands or your elbows and your toes, so you're having to carry your body weight. Now, however much we all weigh, like to carry that body weight, that's challenging, particularly then if you actually make it into pull-ups, right? So that's why I love them, because you actually don't need much equipment or any at all to do those and actually be really building body strength just with body weight exercises. So I've put those 4 in my Weights for Women guide and given you instructions on how to do those as well. Okay, so that's the end. So myth busted. Should women lift weights to lose weight? Absolutely, yes they should. Will you get bulky if you lift weights? No, not unless you have a particularly more than average muscly body, and that even shouldn't happen very easily. And you'll only get bulky if you become a professional bodybuilding athlete and make that your focus. But if you just incorporate weights, you are going to have a leaner, fitter, stronger body. And not only that, but your bones are going to be stronger as well. You're going to have greater strength for everyday exercises. Your joints are going to be better. There are just so many benefits. So I really hope that you've gotten a lot from this, ladies. And I really encourage you to just download that Weights for Women guide. I'm positive it's going to be a benefit for you, particularly if you're new to this. So thanks for tuning in. Really, really loved chatting with you. And please, if you've got any other questions, I'm more than happy to give you my best answers. So what are you waiting for, ladies? Go get weight training. All right, have a great night. See you later.